Coming up on Sports Paws, in-state rivals Quinnipiac and the University of Connecticut go head-to-head in the Allentown Regional.
And baseball and softball were both back on the diamond, with baseball having 3-game series against Manhattan and softball continuing MAC play with 2 doubleheaders.
The men's and women's lacrosse teams look for a bounce back to find their form once again.
All that and more coming up on Sports Paws starting right now.
Welcome into Studio 125 this evening for Sports Paws. Joined alongside Katie Velukovic, I'm Seb Lopes. This weekend, the men's ice hockey team was in Allentown, Pennsylvania for the NCAA regional semifinals.
The Bobcats were set for a battle of Connecticut against the Yukon Huskies. Quinnipiac Bobcats versus the Connecticut Huskies in the NCAA regional. Bobcats looking to return to the Regional 4 for the 4th straight season. Early in the first period, a bad bounce led to slot shot for Yukon that Dylan Silverstein turned away. It is still 0-0.
The Yukon pressure would continue as it happened all period long. This was a snipe from Huey Larkin, beating Dylan Silverstein for a 1-0 lead.
Less than 5 minutes, Jeremy Wilmer turns the puck over to the blue line, and Ethan Gardula makes him pay double as the Huskies still lead. It's 2-0 Yukon.
Yukon would dominate the first period completely. Going into the second period, Quinnipiac looking for something. Mason Marcellus shot off the crossbar and out of play.
Yukon would respond with a power play chance, but Silverstein pressured at the top of his crease, and he makes the save.
Not even a minute later, Mason Marcellus and Jeremy Wilmer 2-on-1. Wilmer backdoor. It's a 2-1 deficit for the Bobcats now.
But just a little bit later, Yukon will respond right back as Tristan Frazier got lucky bounce with the puck falling right into him, and he puts the Huskies back up the heading into the third period.
Yeah, heading into the third period, Quinnipiac looking for some sort of life in this game. It's a shot from the point from Elliot Gronwald. Doesn't quite go in the net, goes barn out.
Aaron Schwartz gets a prime opportunity to slap, but Callum Tunt says, not today, buddy.
Quinnipiac would continue with some offensive pressure in this third period, and it's a robbery on Andon Serbone by Callum Tung. That's a save of the year candidate right there.
The final minutes, here come the Bobcats. Travis Treelar throws a shot to the front, and chaos ensues in front of the net, but the puck just cannot find the back of the net for the Bobcats. It is 3-1 Yukon. And they really pushed it there, Seb.
Yeah, Yukon Quinnipiac threw the whole kitchen sink at it, trying to keep their season alive. They couldn't quite do it as Yukon ran away with a 4-1 win. With the loss to Yukon ending the Bobcat season, the team now needs to look forward.
Q30's Ava Heaton has the story from Allentown.
On Friday, the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team's season was ended by the University of Connecticut Huskies. And while it may take some time for the Bobcats to get over this loss, they are proud of their season and ready for the future.
It's a tough pill to swallow right now, but we had a great season. For where we were on November 3rd or November 2nd, whatever day it was, to 3-5, to figure it out and get 24 wins and make the tournament again and win another Cleary 5 in a row, it just didn't seem possible.
While this season for the Bobcats has had highs and lows, one thing that has stayed consistent is the significance of the leadership group and the lessons they were able to pass on to younger players.
I'm really going to miss everyone that we lose this year, but I mean their impact on this program and on our team as individuals is something that we'll never forget.
They kind of praised the culture that we have with our team, and they kind of emphasized just to keep that culture going moving forward.
Quinnipiac's leadership group may be moving on, but head coach Ram Pecknold thinks his squad can improve next season with other players stepping into their roles.
This was I never used the term rebuild, but a reload year. But we'll be better next season. We will. We'll take a jump. All those freshmen will be sophomores. The two I brought in here, Anna and Mason, are two of the better players in our league of sophomores. They'll take a huge jump as juniors. So I'm excited about next year. I haven't overthought it yet because we're not quite there yet, but. Again, this was a reload year and had a lot of success in a year like that.
This Bobcats team will look to build off the season's success and to add in both the transfer portal and another excelling first-year class. Reporting for Q30 Sports, I'm Ava Heaton.
A weekend of firsts unfolded in Allentown as Yukon achieved its inaugural victory in the NCAA tournament. This secured a place in Sunday's regional final against Penn State, and in a thrilling game, Penn State pushed UConn to overtime, where sophomore Matt DeMarsico emerged as the overtime hero, propelling Penn State to its first Frozen Four appearance in program history. The other regional champions include Western Michigan, Boston University, and Denver. Penn State is set to face Boston University, while the other semifinal will feature the nation's two highest scoring teams, Denver and Western Michigan. This year's Frozen Four is scheduled to be held in St. Louis, Missouri on April 10th and 12th.
On Sunday, the men's college hockey transfer portal opened up, and one of the most notable names that was in there was senior goaltender Noah Altman. The fan favorite appeared in 3 games in this season and 7 games in his career. Within his time at Hampton, he recorded 8 saves, and Altman redshirted in 2021 and is using that to gain a 5th year of eligibility.
Other Bobcats that entered the portal include sophomore defenseman Nate Benoit, a 2021 6th-round pick by the Minnesota Wild, sophomore defenseman Chase Ramsey, who appeared in 7 games in 2 years, first-year forward Noah Ayer, who played in 5 games this season, and first-year forward Michael Salandra, who didn't appear in any regular season games with the Bobcats.
Moving over to the court, women's basketball star Gal Raviv has entered the transfer portal. The MAC Player and Rookie of the Year averaged 17.9 points and 4.3 assists a game and broke the program's Division I first-year scoring record. Iowa State, UNC, Miami, Nebraska, Clemson, and Oregon are reportedly the schools in the mix for the star point guard.
Flipping to the men's side, junior guard Ryan Mabry once again entered the transfer portal, originally joining the Bobcats from Miami, Ohio. The New Jersey native averaged over 4 points a game while shooting 33% from 3. And to update you on another Bobcat in the portal, big man Paul Otieno announced on his Instagram today that he has committed to St. Louis University for next season. Quinnipiac baseball began a 3-game series against the Manhattan Jaspers on Friday. The Bobcats secured a comfortable Game 1 win by a score of 16-5. In addition to 16 runs, the team recorded 16 hits. CJ Willis had a hot bat going with 5 RBIs, while first baseman Kyle Garbowski went 4 for 6 at the plate with 3 RBIs in the win. Samurai gave the bullpen a rest day, going a full 6 innings and throwing 117 total pitches.
Hey Seb, did you know that the team has a new belief called the Bobcat innings?
I'm going to be honest with you, no, I didn't. So let's go to Spencer Decker, who has more on the story.
The 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. Only 1/3 of a baseball game for the Quinnipiac Bobcat squad. John Delaney and his team have now called those innings the Bobcat innings. After struggling in the early parts of the season, the Bobcat innings came about. Sebastian Muller, he's 11 to name.
We kind of jokingly call them the Bobcat innings now. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, I think for us, that's the most important part of the game. And I think, like, when adrenaline picks up and guys get nervous, if you feel confident in those spots, you can really kind of put a team away and break a game open.
But for head coach John Delaney, it's not just a name, it's a culture as well.
Yeah, they've nicknamed it the Bobcat inning. It's funny how when you talk to them about certain things and kind of ingrain in of like what we want to be and the identity we want to be, and then when you have good role models and leaders at the top that really push that emphasis on them, like Sebby's one of those guys, and it becomes a buy-in and it becomes just a piece of the identity, and it allows, and it's great because like it's something we've always talked about, and obviously it's helpful when you speak about it a lot and then it kind of comes through and it happens, and then it's like, all right, yeah, like this is a thing, and then it like consistently becomes a thing. Once you have that, like the confidence goes through the roof and the team changes a little bit, and I think they kind of know that.
It also inherits to new players like Alex Irizarry and longtime Bobcats like CJ Willis.
I think it just comes from battle adversity, so really no matter what happens in the first kind of 6 innings of the game, whether they win your way or win the other way, you can always have a chance to come back and put us in the win column in those 7, 8, 9 innings, which I think has been a great part for our team because we've been trailing a lot of those games. And even sometimes if we don't come back, we'll always give it a good fight. So always good to be a part of that.
Yeah, last year's team would probably have half the wins just because all of our wins have come 7, 8, 9. We just never give up, and we have a lot of belief in our bats. And when the pitching comes along, it's just there's nobody going to stop us. So,
what is head coach John Delaney's message to the rest of the MAC? Well, here it is.
Here's what I can tell you. If you have a team that you're facing that is really good on the last 3 innings, it's a team that becomes very, very steered. And that's what we want to be.
Now, as of March 28th, the Bobcats sit second in the MAC standings, and the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings will be ever so important if they want to try and qualify for the MAC championships on May 20th. Reporting for Q30 Sports, I'm Spencer Decker.
On Saturday, Quinnipiac continued their MAC series against Manhattan. The Jaspers opened the scoring in the first inning with a run, only to be met by senior infielder C.J. Willis trying to score in the bottom of the first. Manhattan racked on more runs to create a 5-2 lead at the top of the fourth, but the Bobcats kept fighting by recording 4 more runs in the sixth. 7 Bobcats recorded at least 1 hit throughout the game, but ultimately the Jaspers secured a 9-8 win to even out the series.
Game 3 between the Bobcats and the Jaspers. The series was all tied up at 1 going into the 5th. Alduino at the start, but he lets up a bloop single here to Gurion Del Salva for Manhattan, who will drive in a run and give Manhattan a 1-0 lead. Once again, Manhattan strikes again. Aiden Tackless smokes a line drive all the way to the wall. 2 runs will score on this play, giving Manhattan a 3-0 lead and putting the Bobcats in big trouble. The Bobcats would come into the bottom of the inning looking for something. It's going to be Gabe right here lifting one deep, and it hits the top of the wall, inches away from getting himself a home run. He'll at least bring in a run with Johnny Knox coming across the plate. Going into the 6th inning now, Braden Romero misses his spot. That's not what you're supposed to do there. Got to go back to the fundamentals there. That ties up the game at 3-3. Now in the 7th, Alex Irizarry trickles one up the first base line. First baseman Dylan Meyer makes an error, so Irizarry is safe, and the Bobcats are able to plate across a run to give themselves a 4-3 lead entering the 8th. Manhattan up at the dish now, and it's another just dribbler to the first baseman. Perfect throw, but late tag by Constable. The Jaspers are right back in this one, and they'll take advantage. Here you see another bloop single into left field, and the party continues to go. Manhattan back up 5-4. CJ Willis looking to keep the Bobcats alive in this game, but he pops out to left field. Tackless makes the comfortable grab, and he'll go and celebrate with his outfielders as Manhattan wins the rubber game of this series by a score of 5-4. A great outing for Matt Alduino, completely wasted by Quinnipiac, as Brad Grazer for Manhattan pitched great. Bobcats will go back into action tomorrow at UConn. Well, it's that time to go to the first commercial break of the night. But when we come back, we'll see if the softball team could bounce back with 2 home doubleheaders against Ryder and Marist.
Meanwhile, both lacrosse teams are in action on Saturday. The women versus Sacred Heart and the men against Iona. Stick with us as we have all that and more coming up after this commercial break.
Reporting from the Grove for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Miller Library for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Mount Carmel campus for Q30 News.
Reporting on Whitney Ave for Q30 News.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Do you enjoy debating Quinnipiac sports?
That's all flash, no catch. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a goal.
What are you doing pulling out rhymes?
Pretty, that's like a crossover with a missed layup.
Bobcat Breakdown is the place for you, with debate, analysis, and so much more.
Mate Marinov. He is good, but oh man, is he bad. And
that team is amazing. How do you not put fish on women's volley?
Tune in to Bobcat Breakdown every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. on Q30TV.com/watch.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. The Quinnipiac softball team faced the Rider Bronx in-MAC doubleheader at home. The Bobcats looking to continue their momentum from their Game 2 win against Siena on Tuesday. In the bottom of the third inning, Riley Potter hits the ball off the Rider pitcher and makes it in safely at first base. But wait a minute, guys. Mac Davis comes home and she'll make it safely to give the Bobcats a 1-0 lead. Potter tries to steal second, but gets caught in a pickle. Mary Fogg uses this to her advantage, stealing home to double the Bobcats' lead. And then now still in the third, Madison Walkie hits it to the short right field. It drops and 2 runners score to make the lead 4-0 for the Bobcats. Heading to the top of the 7th, 2 outs. Sydney Horan is able to strike outside to end the game. The Bobcats take Game 1 4-1 over the Bronx. Game 2 was delayed due to some rain, but the team stuck around. The top of the first, Christy Gardner's 2-run double scores Keegan St. Cyr and Fallon Stokel to give Ryder an early 2-0 lead. And it was an amazing play right there for Ryder. And into the bottom of the 4th, game is tied 3-3. Riley Potter dishes it and pops one into shallow center field. The Bronx aren't able to come up with it. The runners advance, scoring 1 run. And then a couple of bats later, Natalia Apatiga hits the ground to left field, and she's able to knock Sofia Vega and Mary Fogg. And this puts Quinnipiac at a 6-3 lead over Ryder. The Bobcats sweep the Bronx, and they continue to look for their 3-game winning streak against Marist in another doubleheader this weekend.
It was glory days for the softball team, from a doubleheader sweep to a near no-hitter for Sydney Horan.
Q30's Patrick Walsh has the story on Horan's performance on Saturday.
In Saturday's doubleheader sweep of the Rider Bronx, Sydney Horan pitched 2 complete games, the first of which was nearly a no-hitter. Here's what she had to say about her performance.
I honestly did not even know I was throwing a no-hitter until after the game. So that was pretty cool. I mean, I wish it was going to be a no-hitter, but can't always go that way. But I think that game was really good for me. Game 2 was too, but I think game 1 definitely I did really well. So I was happy with it. A little stressful, pitching 2 games. It's definitely a lot, and I'm glad I was able to do it. Taking a deep breath, definitely trusting my defense is a big help. I mean, I feel like we made so many great plays for Game 2. That was definitely kind of like the energizer of the game. Not only that, but the offense was on fire. So definitely it was those 2 things that kind of helped me go on throughout the second game.
Head coach Hillary Smith also heaped praise on her pitcher, who totaled a whopping 205 pitches on the day.
I don't know, it's just a testament to how hard she's worked, how much she's bought in over the last 4 years. And I've always known Sid is this good, and I'm just happy that she's finally getting what she deserves in her last year.
Coach Smith also explained the message she gave to her team as Game 2 was delayed due to rain.
Stay ready. If you stay ready, and then you always will be ready. And that's all we were doing. And they were just having fun in the locker room, and they were just keeping the vibes up. We weren't going to go down because it's easy in rain breaks and things like that to bring your energy down. But we just made it a point to have fun in the locker room, and then we just brought it back out here, and we were just ready to get back to work.
The Bobcats look to continue their momentum against the Marist Red Foxes on Sunday. Reporting for Q30 Sports, I'm Patrick Walsh.
The Bobcats had another doubleheader over the weekend, this time to the Marist Red Foxes. Quinnipiac lost both games 13-9 and 9-0. In Game 1, junior shortstop Natalia Apatiga led Quinnipiac with 2 RBIs and recorded her 4th multi-RBI game of the season. These games won't count for conference play due to a MAC scheduling rule. On Saturday, the women's lacrosse team looked to break its 3-game losing streak. Saturday was also senior day for the women's lacrosse team as they faced off against the Sacred Heart Pioneers. 8 senior players and 1 graduate student were recognized for the Bobcats during the ceremony. Heading into the first quarter, the Bobcats looked to break the ice and get the first goal of the game. Abby Wise picks up the pass and fires one into the back of the net. Does just that. Her senior night a little extra special. That was her 100th career NCAA point. Into the second quarter we go. Quinnipiac up 7-6. Sacred Heart cuts towards the net, and it's Shea Nsinga who ties this game up at 7-7. Going into the third quarter now, it's first-year connection in Hamden. Emma Miller-Ayala finds Peyton Choma, and the Bobcats retake an 8-7 lead over the Pioneers. Sacred Heart will look for some sort of an answer to that goal. They get just that as Maggie Aranio fires one into the back of the net, tying the game up at 8-8. Maggie Aranio wasn't done. Spinorama move into the back of the net. That's the second consecutive goal for a 9-8 lead. She would also finish with 6 goals on the day. Free position attempt for the Pioneers, fired past Alden. That would give Sacred Heart a 12-8 lead. They're celebrating, they're feeling good. Quinnipiac found an answer. Peyton Troma goes top corner herself. That would cut down the lead. She would finish with 2 goals on the day. And that would not be enough as Sacred Heart wins this contest by a score of 14-11. Abby Wise also finishes with 3 goals and 2 assists on the day.
Later that day, the men's lacrosse took on the Iona Gales in MAC play. The Bobcats lost 12-8 and remained winless at home. They had 16 turnovers throughout the game. Grad midfielder Trevor Douglas and junior attacker Justin Robert each scored 2 goals for the Bobcats. They faced the Sacred Heart Pioneers on April 5th while still chasing for their first home win.
Unfortunately, it is time to take our final break of the night. When we come back, the acrobatics and tumbling team was in action at home against the AIC Yellow Jackets. Could the Bobcats bounce back from their close loss to Oregon?
And the most exciting time of the night, the top 5 plays. Who will make the cut? You'll have to wait and see. Sports Paws will be right back.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Life's daily battles are not meant to be fought alone.
We're not powerless, so long as we don't lose sight of what's important.
Don't be afraid to seize that moment to talk to your friends.
Cloud, you okay?
Because checking in on a friend can create a safe space.
The first step on our new journey. You coming?
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
Guys! We had to make a commercial for #that right now. What do we do?
How long do we have? We only had 2 months to do this.
We could explain that it's a pop culture news show that covers everything from movies, music, and video games.
Yeah, and we can also talk about how there's pre-recorded segments that vary from reviews to in-depth discussions.
We should also mention that it broadcasts live every Monday at 7 p.m. on q30tv.com/watch.
I think that covers everything. Did you guys get that down?
Welcome back to Sports Paws. As the acrobatics and tumbling regular season starts to wind down, let's take a look at the latest NCAA national rankings. Baylor stays put in the number 1 seat, followed by University of Oregon, who rose from the number 4 seat. Quinnipiac is ranked at 3, followed by Augusta in 4th, and Fairmount State rounding out the top 5. Iona rises into the 6th place spot. UMHB in 7th, Limestone in 8th, and Azusa Pacific and St. Leo round out the top 10. The teams are setting eyes on the NCAA Nationals at Augusta University from April 24th to the 27th. On Friday, acrobatics tumbling team defeated the AIC Yellow Jackets. The Bobcats recorded season highs in compulsory with a 38.2, tumbling with a 56.6, and team routine with a 94.86. They also received their highest total score of 274.96. Quinnipiac tallied two 9.8 scores during the meet. The first in the toss compulsory heat and the second in the 6th element tumbling heat. AIC in their inaugural season did not compete in all the heats and recorded a 33.625. Next, Quinnipiac will face the Gannon Golden Knights in Pennsylvania on April 5th.
With the only male coach in the league and being a brand new program, American International College has quite the interesting story.
Acrobatics and tumbling B reporter Meg Buckley has the story.
As acrobatics and tumbling grows as a sport, there are bound to be records broken. Those take place both on and off the mat, for athletes and for coaches. Patrick McFarland is the first coach for the AIC acrobatics and tumbling team. He's also the first male coach for the whole NCATA. While it's the first season for the young team, it doesn't come without its challenges.
The learning curve. There's so much going on between the scoring system, learning how everything goes, teaching kids who've never done it before how to do it. There's a lot of challenges all throughout, but yeah, I'd say overall just getting acclimated to a new system.
Despite the difficulties of learning a new sport, the positives for Coach McFarland run much deeper.
I think the best part for me has been being able to meet a whole bunch of new kids and start opening doors for their futures. I think that's the fun part for me. I think it is a privilege and opportunity to work with the kids, so them trusting me to take them through this whole experience, as well as getting them built up for their life that comes after, that's my favorite part.
And from a more experienced coach, explaining her favorite part is even simpler.
How about what you do? It doesn't never seem like work if you love you so every day, believe.
Loving one's sport is a crucial component to any athlete and any young kids looking to break out into the up-and-coming sport. Even if accessing that sport may be difficult, or if you're a boy stepping into an all-female organization.
Unfortunately, boys don't have an option in this sport since it is an all-female sport. So me being a gymnast, it was a benefit to have the background, but in terms of having the chance to participate, I didn't get that until my sophomore year of college when we ended up losing our gymnastics team and I transferred to cheerleading. So for the boys who do it, I'd say cheerleading is your best avenue of approach, but for those who are still following, all the support you can do to keep the sport growing, it's the right way to go.
For Marianne Powers, her advice to any young programs is to recruit the talent and to campaign athletes to your program. The sky's the limit for such a young sport, and so is the inclusivity, and it's only up from here. Reporting for Q30 Sports, I'm Meg Buckley.
The women's track and field team commenced the outdoor season this past weekend in Raleigh, North Carolina. During the competition, 2 school records were broken, with Talia Graham hitting 3.75 meters on the pole vault and Alessandra Zafina recording a time of 10 minutes, 19 seconds on the 3,000 meter steeplechase.
They weren't the only Bobcats who hit milestones that meet, as 4 Bobcats recorded personal bests in their events. Alongside her new school record, Graham also recorded a 12.81 seconds in the 100-meter dash. The team now looks ahead to their meet at UMass Amherst on April 5th.
Former Quinnipiac men's ice hockey forward Christophe Tellier has put pen to paper and on a 1-year, 2-way professional contract with the Charlotte Checkers, AHL affiliate of the Florida Panthers. The contract will go into effect next year in the 2025-26 season. Tellier ended the season with 5 goals and 13 assists, accumulating 18 points with the Northeastern University Huskies.
Tellier played at Quinnipiac from 2022 to 2024 before transferring to Northeastern for the 2024-2025 season. During his tenure with the Bobcats, he played in 89 games and was a key role player in the 2023 National Championship. Well, Seb, unfortunately, we don't have any top 5 plays this week, so we're going to have to call it here for the night.
No, Katie. April Fool's is tomorrow, not today. You're not fooling me. It's top 5 time. Let's go. Number 5 play on the mat. The Bobcats in the tumbling event. Emily St. Ange all the way to the end of the mat for a score of a 9.8.
CJ Willis gets to barrel to it and sends it a long way, clearing the left field wall. Look at that bat-to-ball skill by the Bobcats right fielder.
Onto the lacrosse field for play number 3. Abby Wise picks up the pass and puts that one in the back of the net. 100th career point.
Back to the diamond for a defensive play in Alex Irizarry, diving this to right field and make the throw for the first, and nice scoop from Garbowski to end the inning. And the Bobcats won 16-5.
Number 1 to Allentown we go. Toe drag backhand, Wilmer, backdoor. Bobcats cut the deficit down to 2-1. Look at that. Toe drag backhand, that is filthy.
That was an amazing shot by him, too.
That was awesome to watch. The toe drag to the backhander and Wilmer on the back door.
Mm-hmm. Well, now we are officially out of time for Sports Paws tonight. Thank you to all the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes.
Make sure to follow us on social media at Q30 Sports on Instagram and X, and on our website, Q30TV.com. For Katie Velukovic, I'm Seb Lopes. Have yourselves a fantastic sports week, Bobcat Nation.